exploring the African legacy in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, a journey into heritage and cultural exchange. What inspired my journey into African heritage in San Miguel de Allende? As I sit in my cozy apartment in San Miguel de Allende, sipping on a cup of Jamaican hibiscus tea and listening to the smooth sounds of Miles Davis and John Coltrane, I can't help but feel a deep connection to something larger than myself. This place has a spirit, a pull that I can't fully describe, and it's urging me to explore the African roots that are intricately woven into the fabric of Mexican history. My decision to make Mexico my home was fueled by a desire for adventure, new experiences, new foods, new customs. But as I settled into life here, especially in San Miguel de Allende, I found myself drawn to something deeper. I wanted to understand the African heritage that has shaped this town, this country, and how African Americans, like me, fit into the broader story. This curiosity was sparked by a fellow African American friend in the States. He asked me, "Are you near or have you heard of any areas in Mexico established by African folks, and if they still function as such? For example, Yanga in Veracruz? Just curious how they tell those stories there, if at all." His question about Yanga, a town founded by enslaved Africans who escaped and formed a free community, made me wonder how many untold stories like that exist in Mexico. And what about San Miguel de Allende? Does the rich African heritage here still function in meaningful ways? And how are these stories being told? These questions and this desire for connection sparked my research. I felt compelled to explore the history and contributions of Africans and African Americans in this beautiful town, uncovering hidden stories and elevating voices that have long been overlooked. The African influence on San Miguel de Allende. African and Mexican contributions to Mexico's history. One of the most pivotal figures in Mexico's history is Vicente Guerrero, a man of African and indigenous descent who served as Mexico's second president. In 1829, Guerrero made history by abolishing slavery in Mexico, a monumental step toward equality and justice. His presidency was a profound moment for the African legacy in Mexico, as Guerrero himself was a symbol of resilience and progress for Afro-Mexicans. Guerrero's abolition decree predated the abolition of slavery in the United States by over 30 years. His leadership highlighted the contributions of people of African descent to Mexico's independence movement and the country's push for a more inclusive society. Guerrero's legacy is especially significant in towns like San Miguel de Allende, where African cultural influences remain visible in music, art, and traditions. Afro-Mexican contributions to the Mexican Revolution. The African influence in Mexico extends beyond music and art. During the Mexican Revolution, from 1910 to 1920, Afro-Mexican communities played a significant role in advocating for land reforms and social justice. San Miguel de Allende was a hub of revolutionary activity where diverse groups, including Afro-Mexicans, came together to fight for equality. Their participation in the revolution further solidified the contributions of Afro-descendants to Mexico's identity, from the colonial period through the modern era. Cultural integration of African traditions in music and dance. The African influence in San Miguel de Allende can be seen clearly in the city's thriving music scene, especially in genres such as jazz, Afrobeat, salsa, and even traditional Mexican folk music. This influence is not just historical, but continues in the form of performances, festivals, and celebrations. Jazz and Afro-Cuban music. The city's music scene is vibrant, with jazz clubs, live performances, and music festivals playing a huge role in the town's artistic spirit. The annual Jazz and Blues Festival in San Miguel de Allende, for example, is one such event that has roots in the African diaspora, merging African American and Afro-Cuban traditions with Mexican culture. Jazz, which originated from African American communities in the U.S., has been embraced by local musicians and residents, some of whom trace their African roots to Afro-Mexican ancestry. Local celebrations such as the Festival of San Miguel Arcangel often include Afro-Mexican music genres like the son jarocho, a style of music originating from the Veracruz region, and the bambuco, a dance originating in Afro-Mexican regions. Both of these music forms were influenced by the African slaves brought to the region and have continued to inspire the music culture in San Miguel. Culinary contributions. Afro-Mexican influence in cuisine. The food scene in San Miguel de Allende is another area where African and Mexican contributions are felt. Just as other regions in Mexico are known for their distinctive dishes, Afro-Mexican traditions have contributed to the richness of Mexican cuisine. Flavor profiles and spices. The use of spices and seasonings in Mexican cuisine, which has African origins, has helped shape the culinary identity of the region. For instance, the influence of West African cuisine is evident in Mexican dishes that feature bold spices, such as chilies, cumin, and paprika. Many traditional Mexican stews and meats are cooked with deep, flavorful seasoning profiles that were introduced through the African slaves brought to the country during colonial times. Cooking up connection. A taste of Mexico. I'm surprised by how deeply I feel connected to Mexico, not just in history but in the present, as I find myself cooking up tacos like I was born to do it. I'm no expert, but I'm telling you, these tacos, slamming. I believe I could put some Mexican mamas to shame. It's like the seasoning and the flavors are just coming to me naturally. Maybe it's the connection to the land, to the people, or just being in a place where everything feels right. But every time I make these tacos, I feel a little more at home here. It's funny how food is such a powerful way to connect to a place. My hands and my heart seem to know exactly what to do with these ingredients, and I think that's a sign that I'm settling in beautifully. Today, African Americans in San Miguel de Allende are rediscovering and celebrating this rich history. We are not just visitors, we are participants in a shared cultural story that spans continents and centuries. Casa Elm is one example of an African American entrepreneur, Michelle Wedderburn, creating a space that honors this legacy. Casa Elm serves as a guest house and cultural hub, hosting workshops, events, and discussions that explore the African influence in Mexico. Through events like these, African American expats and Mexican residents come together to celebrate their shared heritage. From music and dance to art and cuisine, these gatherings are a testament to the enduring spirit of the African diaspora. If you're thinking about going on a retreat or a relocation tour to San Miguel de Allende, Casa Elm provides a soft landing. I will add a link end the descriptions. As African American expatriates, we're also actively participating in and supporting the local community through art, music, and business ventures. We're collaborating with local artisans, sharing our culture through food and music, and fostering deeper connections between the Mexicans and African American communities. The road ahead, honoring our African roots in Mexico. Afro-Mexican identity and recognition. A modern perspective. In recent years, Afro-Mexicans have gained significant visibility and acknowledgement in Mexican society. This shift was catalyzed by the 2020 census, where, for the first time, people could officially identify as Afro-Mexican or of African descent. Approximately 2.5 million Mexicans, about 2% of the population, chose this identity, highlighting a long overlooked aspect of Mexico's diverse heritage. Under the leadership of President Claudia Sheinbaum, Mexico has continued to address issues of racial inequality and celebrate its multicultural identity. President Sheinbaum has championed initiatives that emphasize the importance of honoring the contributions of both indigenous and Afro-descendant communities. Her administration has committed to increasing education, cultural preservation, and social equity programs that empower these historically marginalized groups. A notable example of Afro-Mexican pride is Veracruz's celebration of Yanga, the leader of enslaved Africans who led one of the first successful revolts against Spanish colonizers in the Americas. Yanga's story has become a national symbol of resistance and freedom, and its recognition is a testament to Mexico's evolving acknowledgement of its African roots. This growing awareness has not only led to cultural and political empowerment, but has also fostered an understanding of how deeply intertwined Afro-Mexican contributions are with the broader Mexican identity. From music and dance to cuisine and art, these influences are woven into the nation's fabric, and their stories are being reclaimed and celebrated like never before. As I explore the Afro-Mexican legacy in San Miguel de Allende, it's inspiring to see how modern leadership, like President Sheinbaum's, continues to elevate and honor these contributions, making space for deeper inclusion and recognition in Mexican society. As African Americans living in Mexico, we're not just learning about our heritage, we're celebrating it. We're bringing it into the light, connecting it with the culture of Mexico, and finding new ways to tell these stories to future generations. San Miguel de Allende has become a place of deep reflection for me, both personally and culturally. As I continue to explore this journey, I invite you to join me in celebrating the African roots that have shaped this beautiful country. What are your thoughts on African heritage in Mexico? Have you encountered similar histories or stories in your travels? I'd love to hear your experiences and reflections in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going.